Welcome to Meeple, uniting players from around the world. A 30-minute exploration of PJ and Gareth's board game experiences from across both sides of the Atlantic. Each episode, they share their thoughts and opinions on the world of board games, including their favourite themes, games, hot topics, and much, much more.
Hey, welcome to episode 42, Moshin with the Meeples, Geekway to the West special episode. I am PJ.
I'm Gareth.
And we are here to talk to you about my experiences this past weekend at Geekway to the West in St. Louis. How are you, Gareth?
I'm okay, but I didn't go, so I'm now looking forward to you telling me all about Geekway to the West, Moshin with the Meeples. What a great name.
Right? Yeah, and the icon is like a little meeple, and they're moshing, like in heavy metal dance music. It was really interesting. It was really cool. It was a great experience. Had a lot of fun. Got a chance to play a lot of games.
How many days was it?
So it's 4, but we only did 3.
So Thursday to Sunday.
Thursday to Sunday. Yeah. It's a great opportunity because it's like this huge hall. There's open gaming. There's the miniature market games library. And then there's a play and win library and a very small vendor hall, 8 to 10, maybe 12 booths.
Oh, total. Wow. That is small. Yeah. So it's all about the game playing. It's not so much about the buying.
It is all about gaming and meeting up with people and getting to game. And my wife and I really dove into the game play and win games library so that we could experience new games. We have a list of games we're going to purchase at Gen Con upcoming. So that was really good.
How many games did you win?
Oh, dear. I didn't win any of them.
Oh, PJ. Damn. Did you buy any games?
We bought Boop.
Boop.
The two-player cat game. Yeah.
I've not heard of it. Are we going to hear about that in one of your recaps?
No, because that was the last day, and I will talk about it after the recaps.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we did get to we met up with Zach Kunst, who is the designer of this game that's still in development. He had a booth at the vendor hall. He's like the director of Corrosive Games.
Okay.
And the game is Fate of Venterra.
Venterra.
Yeah. It's an amazing game. Very cool, kind of an area control combat with no dice, which I love. He was kind enough to let me interview him for a few minutes, and we're about to listen to that. So be mindful that we were in the lobby. We went in a very small corner, so there's going to be some background noise when you listen to this interview. But he was gracious enough to talk to us. So,
okay, let's have a listen.
Yeah. Hey, this is PJ, and you are listening to Meeple, uniting players from around the world. And it is day 1, Geekway to the West in St. Louis. And I'm happy to say day 1's been really successful. And I'm really excited to feature our first guest in this segment, and that's Zach Kunst from Corrosive Games.
Yep.
And you've got a new game coming out. It's in production. Why don't you tell us a little bit about it?
Yeah, so Fate of Venterra is the new game. It's a strategy war game with no dice or randomizers during combat. It's a, I guess the term you'd use is 4X game. It's territory control game mostly. We have 5 different factions. Each of them is unique to themselves, so asymmetrical. They're going to have different stats on their buildings, different types of upgrades. And instead of the dice, you actually use attack, movement, and defense values specific to each unit you can recruit into your army. So
you were showing me a little bit of this earlier.
Yeah.
When we talked earlier in the vendor hall. And so it's kind of like on the cards, right?
Yes, that is correct. Yeah, everything is listed on the cards and on your mat. And the goal of the game is still going to be influence, which is victory points at the end. Instead of having a goal that everybody's working towards, they're kind of gaining influence throughout the game.
So is this a game that this is your brainchild? Do you have a team that you're working with? Tell us a little bit about that process.
Yeah, so originally I came with a very, very rough version of the game to one of my friends to his game night. And then he was like, I really like this, but I think we could make it better. And I'm like, okay, that sounds good. I'm totally down, because I just wanted to create something, and I threw something at the wall, and then he made it and took the pieces and made an actual puzzle out of it. So he kind of honed in all my loose ideas that were all over the place.
You were telling me a little bit about the kind of the drama, right? Some of the not disagreements, but just that inherent conflict in a collaborative effort that seemed to work really well. Right?
Yeah.
Was it?
So I think that when two people get together with slightly different ideas but the same goal, that there's always, whatever is going to come out of that is always going to be the best solution between them. Because when I come to him with an idea of like, hey, I think that a player should be able to do this, he can be able to be like, well, I don't want to do that as a player, and then we can kind of meet in the middle off of that and come up with an actual idea that people might be more interested in.
Cool. Is this your first game that you've designed?
This is my first game, yeah. It's a big one too. So as people said, hey, release a card game when you're doing your first Kickstarter, and I'm like, but I like my game, and I think I can make it work. So yeah, here I am, and it is working. So that's good.
So, do you have any other projects, and maybe once you're done with Fate, you got something else in the pipeline that's going to keep going? Or
as a designer, I have hundreds of ideas that I will never get to, but I hope to. I wish I could say specifics about a lot of them, but man, that could just keep going on and on.
Right. So, you're planning on launching this through some sort of crowd-funded, crowdsourced, like Kickstarter or something like that. When do you think that project will launch for our listeners, so they'll keep an eye out for looking for that?
Right. So for right now, we've nailed down January 2024 as our launch month. The specific date will depend on what is the best time for all of the people that are interested in our game, specifically.
Cool. And it looks like, just because I got an opportunity to look at the game and talk with you for a few minutes about it, there seems to be some opportunities for like multiple tiers of the game that would have different features, like dual layered boards and things of that nature.
Yeah, so our plan is to offer a base version of the game that's going to come in at a more reasonable price for people that are maybe just looking to get into it a little bit, or that are maybe like, I like the game, but I don't need all the extra stuff. The deluxe version of our game is going to have a lot of exclusive stuff that we're hoping to do on Kickstarter, and then also it's going to add in an extra faction, dual layer boards. It's going to have maybe some things that we're throwing around, that like adding in extra cards for that version, and then also adding in extra 3D pieces for people.
Cool. So I've got to ask, how did you get into, I guess, how long have you been in this hobby? And what was the first game? Like, you're like, this is it. I'm sold.
Yeah.
I'm a gamer. And now you're a designer.
So my brother was actually into board games a lot more than me before. And I used to play like Risk and Monopoly when I was younger, which I loved, but I didn't really know about any other type of games. I'd say sometime middle of high school, my brother was like, hey, I'm meeting with this board game group all the time, and we play, interesting games, and I'm like, I've never heard of any of this, and I have to go check it out. So I can't remember the first game, but I do remember the first game that my brother really got me into, which was Catan. and now that I've played it a lot of times, I'm like, oh, Cities and Night and Seafarers all the way.
All the way.
But at first, I was like, whoa, this is so much more than anything else. I don't know what's going on.
Right. Absolutely. Well, Zach, thanks so much for taking the time to talk to me. I really appreciate it. Enjoyed hearing about your game. Anything else you want our listeners to know before we go?
Join our community, check us out. We're hoping to get a lot of input and also just kind of build it around the people that are most interested in the game, the people that really want to develop, like put time into it. Thank you for having me, PJ. It was awesome being on here, and I'm glad that we were able to meet.
Yeah, well, thank you so much. One last thing, where can everyone find you on all the social medias?
Yeah, so it's going to be at Corrosive Games. We're on Twitter, we're on Facebook, we're on Instagram, we're on YouTube. We've got a Discord group. If you go to our website, www.corrosivegames.com, you can find links to everything on there.
And to be clear, that's corrosive with a K.
Yes.
All right.
Corrosive with a K. Yes, Korosive.
Perfect. Well, Zach, thanks a lot. I'm enjoying talking to you. I appreciate it.
So thank you very much.
Yeah, so that was a great experience talking with Zach. So finally, a recap of day one, Geekway to the West. We arrived yesterday and we played Downtown Farmers Market, which was an adorable and brain crunching tile placement game that did not take very long. Less than 45 minutes at 2 players. It was really excellent. After that, we played the roll and write version of My City, which I can say is so much better at 2 players than the original My City, which was good at 2, but not great. The roll and write was really good. After that, we played New York Zoo, another tile placement. Then when we got done, we played Bamboo, which is a recent hot game across social media. It was really cute and a lot of strategy. Was it beautiful components? Great game. Highly recommend Bamboo. After that, we played the game that I have been longing for weeks now, ever since you mentioned it, and that's Planet Unknown. We managed to play a 4-player. We used just the basic universal corporation sides, the generic planet facing side, no asymmetric planets, but it was so good. You know my weakness for tile placement. After that, we played Suburbia, a game that has been around for a long time. Been meaning to play, and finally we got to play Suburbia. The other thing is that I heard a lot of comments when we got Dinosaur World that it was just like Dinosaur Island and Suburbia, and I don't know that I think that that's true. I mean, other than the fact that you are laying hexagonal tiles to build your park in Dinosaur World, just like you are in Suburbia, the tiles in Dinosaur World don't do the same things. Whereas in Suburbia, the tiles that you lay are affected by the tiles adjacent to it, and in some cases can earn points and money for your opponents. So you have to be careful with that. An element you didn't see in Dinosaur World, but that was Suburbia. That was an exciting game. I'm really glad I had a chance to play that. After Suburbia, we played Raiders of the North Sea by Shem Phillips. That would be my second Shem Phillips Garfield game behind Architects of the West Kingdom, which we own. Raiders was good. It was simple. It was really crunchy because your basic turn is you place a worker and resolve the action, and then you take a worker from the board and resolve the action of the location where that worker was. And so you're not trying to build an engine, but you're trying to accrue resources. And you've got to be really careful because later in the game, some of the more advanced positions, when you place your worker, they don't ever come back. So the pool of, say, the gray workers gets smaller and smaller. So you have to manage that very carefully. And we closed out the night with the most adorable game in quite a while, and that was Flamecraft, where we're running around town with our little dragons and going to shops and gaining resources. And I'm happy to say that I did not win. uh, but yeah, it was a lot of fun. Played with 4 players, so it was really exciting. I definitely encourage you to look at Flamecraft. It was pretty awesome. And so that concludes day 1. So I think we got like 8 games in, and we're going to see what's going to happen on day 2.
Great summary, PJ, for day 1. 8 games in that one day.
Right?
Good work.
Yeah.
Good work.
Yeah.
I can't wait to hear what day 2 brings. what I love to hear is that you've got to play Planet Unknown.
Oh yes,
because we've talked about that. I think I talked about that on the Gen Con day.
Yes.
And did you enjoy it that much?
I love. Oh my god, I'm so
He
glad we got to
loved
play
it.
it. Loved it. Oh my gosh, how do I? I'm so excited. It was the highlight of my first day.
Awesome.
If we can find a copy at Gen Con, it is. I'm putting it in my pocket and I'm not letting go.
Because over here they've just released another batch. So whether there's a second print run just circling around, but it's just become available this weekend over here.
So we played the basic Planet map.
Yeah. We played that a lot.
But man, there's so many.
To be honest with you, I think I've only ever drifted into the asymmetric stuff maybe once. We generally, because we just play the same map, the first map, and the standards. There's so much content.
But some of those maps are really cool.
Yeah, they're awesome.
Yeah. So we're looking to dive into that. That was great. And we got to play with two of our friends who are here in Springfield locally that we haven't seen much of, but we knew they were going to be a Geekway, so that was cool. And they're like, "Yeah, let's play it," because they brought their own games to play. That's what I love about Geekway is you can have whatever experience you want. And our friends in Springfield who go to Geekway, they bring their own games and just spend the weekend like a retreat playing games. And Katie and I were really getting into the play and wins, and they were like, "We'll play Planet Unknown, yeah, let's join in." So we got a 4-player. I didn't win it. It was play for win, but I didn't win it.
Oh, damn! And so they're friends from Springfield. Did you meet anybody else on day one?
Yeah, I did. I love this. This is such a cool story. I don't know if this is divine providence or serendipity. I don't know what it is. I feel like we're going to be friends forever, and I hope that Jonathan is listening, because I told him I was going to tell this story. So on Instagram, re-engineer the game. Okay. At re-engineer the game. It's 3 engineers who live in St. Louis.
Yeah.
So, so Jonathan is one of the 3, and him and his wife, Megan, he reached out to me. He's like, "Yeah, we're going to go to Geekway. We hope to meet up." Cool. So we're planning on meeting at the convention. He's like, "But I've got some events scheduled, so we'll try to meet up on day 2, whatever." So it's the end of the night, and Katie and I scheduled an event at 8:00 at night to play Flamecraft.
Okay, not played this. Very cute is what I see. Dragons.
It is. It's adorable. And the reason is my sister-in-law, who's not really a gamer, she heard about it and told us about it. And she's like, "Please play this." And so we did. And I'm sitting here and I'm looking at the guy across from me. I'm like, he looks really familiar.
Yeah.
And then later on, as it turns out, this is going to be Jonathan. So that's the spoiler.
Yeah.
And he sees me wearing my shirt with my Meeple to Meeple patch. And he's like, "I think that's PJ." And I'm like, "I think that's Jonathan." And I'm looking, and I was like, "Hey, are y'all Jonathan and Megan?" "Yeah." I was like, "So I'm PJ." And it was just like, so we scheduled the same event. So we got to play Flamecraft together.
I love
couples. And it was just amazing. There were other serendipitous moments between Jonathan and I during the course of the con. The next day, his wife was playing in a tournament for Lost Cities. She was still playing. He got knocked out in a certain round. And so he came over. Katie and I were just about to play a game. So he got to sit down and play with us. And then we finished that game. His wife had finished. She won the tournament.
It's good timing. Really
so
good.
It was just
sometimes
really
it doesn't work, but it sounds like it just worked.
No, it was just perfect moment. So yeah.
Okay.
The other Instagrammer that was there is at Token Gamer.
Okay, yeah.
Danielle Reynolds. She was there. We messaged each other a couple of times, but our paths did not cross. So unfortunately, she was there. I was there, but
happens.
Sometimes, like you said, sometimes it doesn't work, and we did not get to meet. But if Danielle's listening, I am so sorry we didn't meet up. Hopefully next time. I know she's a cat owner and cat lover. I sent her a picture of our cat. I was like, someone is happy that we're home.
I bet. Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, that's day 1. Shall we have a listen to day 2?
Absolutely. So you're just going to listen to a recap of day 2 and the games that we played here. I think the sound quality is better because I had learned from the day before with the interview with Zach. So it's going to be better quality.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, here goes.
Okay.
Really busy day. Got there early. There was already a long line for the Play and Win library, which is kind of the big event. Um, it's really cool. So you go into the library, check out a game. They've got a barcode on the game. Scan the barcode on your badge, and you go play the game. When you come back, check it in, same thing. And they've got these little tablets mounted on pedestals, and you click the name of the game, and you enter your badge number and the badge number of everyone with you who played the game. This helps the game designers to track the number of plays that their games experienced, and you rate them on a 1 to 5 star rating. So this is really cool. I learned that in day 2 is that game designers and publishers donate all the games for the Play and Win for this very purpose. So it is a really cool event for gamers, but an awesome opportunity for designers and publishers. And I'm kind of surprised it's not duplicated more at other cons. Maybe it is. I obviously don't attend all the cons, but it's a really cool opportunity. So the hot game, it seems like, for Geekway is Expeditions by Stonemeyer. It's the one game that's just really challenging to get a copy of. Check out of the library and play it. We're hearing great things. We haven't had an opportunity. Hopefully, we'll get another chance today. But we did get a lot of games in. I will say, we started day 2. We played Earth. Earth was amazing. And I have so many things to say about Earth. It was so good. After that, we played Sabika, which turned out to be a lot heavier of a game than we wanted, just the 2 of us at the table. It's a beautiful game. I think it would be really engaging and would enjoy it at my game table at home. If I want to sit down for a couple of hours, play this really cool game that's got a rich theme, beautiful components. It didn't hit it for us. It was just a little too complex at like 9 o'clock in the morning, and you're only having your first cup of coffee. Then we got to play Rolling Heights, which is amazing. Instead of dice, you're rolling meeples, and if they stand up, they're working for you, and you build buildings. I can't say enough about Rolling Heights. That was really cool. Did get to meet Heather Dixon, the designer of Apostocracy, a game that I play tested for the first time at Gen Con in 2022. She was here, and she was kind enough to let us get a private game with her, and we got to see. It was a great opportunity for me. It was a great opportunity for her as well because it had changed so much, and so it was an opportunity where she had a play tester who had seen it a year ago and could see the changes and appreciate the changes and comment on them. And the game is it's going great. We're definitely going to have her on in a future episode as her game gets closer to publication. So that's Apostocracy, and that was cool. It was really good to see Heather again. It was a great game, so I really enjoyed that. Then I was really excited. The 2-player Beer and Bread. Everyone's been talking about it. It's been amazing. We got to play that, and it did not disappoint. Um, So the idea is you're brewing beer, you're baking bread, and at the end of the game, you have a bread score and a beer score, and the lowest of the 2 is your score. Yeah, so I made a little too much beer and not enough bread, and so my bread score was so small that I lost the game. Yeah, you live and learn. Um, we also played Sabernac Forest or Sabernac Forest. Not really sure of the pronunciation. This was this cool. It's tile laying, except the tiles are like cards, square cards, and you create a 4x4 grid, and you have animals, and you make these paths. But two animals can't share the same path. Each path has food. Each animal has a desired food they want to consume on their path and a storage. It's really cool, very unique. Didn't know anything about it, but we really enjoyed it. It played amazing at 2. I'm sure it would be just as good at 3 and 4. Then we played Paint the Roses. Paint the Roses was a beautiful game. It is a cooperative deduction game where each player has like a private objective, but I can't tell you what my private objective is, but I can give you clues based on the tiles that I'm laying, because we're trying to paint all the roses in the garden and be beheaded. Try saying that 3 times real fast. By the Queen of Hearts, in the Alice in Wonderland kind of environment. That one really needs a third player, because at 2 players, there's no discussion and there's less clues per tile, right? So if your partner plays a tile and puts a clue cube, it doesn't give me a lot of information about their objective, and we can't talk about it. If there was a third player, me and the other player could talk about, you know, and so there's a little discussion. It's very cooperative. It's really unique. This whole cooperative deduction was pretty cool. Then we played Canopy, which was amazing. Beautiful artwork, card game where you're growing trees, attracting animals to your forest. This was cool. It was the first play. I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just playing cards in front of me. You play 3 seasons, and when I got to the first season and saw how scoring worked, it made so much sense. So that was Canopy. Check it out. And then finally, we get to play Boop. Yes, the cute cat game where you boop the kitties off the bed. That's a cool one. I know it's just taken the gaming community by storm, and I understand why. We played it twice because it does not take very long at all. It is a great 2-player game. It is very simple, but very crunchy in terms of strategy and making you think. Or just giving the game over to your wife because she's smarter than you are. And I would play my cats, and she'd be like, "Oh, look, there, 3 in a row, I win." I'm like, "Yeah, that happened to me twice." So then we played Joan of Arc, the Orleans drawn right. Um, it's interesting, but if you've never played Orleans, I don't recommend playing Joan of Arc. It really, it's such a referential and not a duplication, but replication. So replication and referencing of Orleans, and if you don't have that context, it can be very overwhelming. So be mindful of that. That's obviously not an absolute. I mean, if you love rolling rights, drawing rights, flipping rights, then this might be for you. But I strongly recommend that you have played Orleans and are familiar with the mechanics. And then last game we played last night was busy. Day two was amazing. We got in a lot of games. So we played Dolce. This is a cool game. Similar mechanic to Libertalia, where one player shuffles up their cards, removes 4 cards from their deck, and then they just draw the top card, and then every other player has to go through their deck and play that same card. But you can either play the cafe on one side, or flip it over and plant the fields on the other. Or if you've already planted fields, you can harvest them by removing the cubes across the row or the column in your on your little player board, because you all have your own player boards. You've got this little wooden meeple to track your points. You've got this little wooden chicken that's chasing you. You can move the chicken back 3 spaces for an egg, which is represented by a white cube, which is kind of like a wild if you need it for anything else. So it's very much a resource management component. It's very cool. You basically get 3 actions to choose from. You take 1 action every turn. It's kind of simultaneous, right? We all have the same card. Are you going to play the cafe, which requires goods, to be harvested, or are you going to plant, or are you going to harvest? And so those are your 3 actions. So that was day 2. We're looking forward to day 3. There is a day 4, but we will not be here at Geekway for day 4. We're going to head home. So definitely look for the recap coming soon.
11 games.
Yes,
Not
sir.
8, but 11.
11.
Congratulations. That's a good amount of games in a day.
Yeah.
Out of all of those, one game that is on my potential purchase list, and I'm in real mixed minds about this because some
Really?
people,
Okay.
so Earth, I see people tell me meh, and other people love it. Based on what you know about my game habits, do I not need, but should it be a game I add to my collection? Because I think there are some available at Games Expo.
I think you would love it, or at the very least, really enjoy it. Tableau building and engine building.
That's the two words that I guess go.
Yeah,
they're my thing.
You're building a grid of cards, a tableau in front of you, and it's the artwork is so it's really stunning. The photography, the way everything works. Like, of course, you need soil to plant the flowers, and you need rain, you need, and the climate and everything. The way everything works, the mechanics are smooth and seamless. It's really good. Is it like the best game ever? No, certainly not. It's definitely up there in tableau builders, and I think you would enjoy it.
Would you add it to your collection?
Yes. So from day 1, Planet Unknown, from day 2, Earth, and then day 3 we'll talk about in a minute. But there's like the top 3 games.
Okay, it's good because I trust you on that piece as well. Okay, so day 3, I think we're going to record that now because you obviously traveled back. So
I did and forgot to record it. So we're just gonna.
Well, we're going to do it now.
We're going to recap day 3 and kind of an overall right here, right now.
Okay, so out of day 3, did you manage to beat 11 games?
No.
Oh,
no.
What did we do?
We played 10.
Okay, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
So that's 10. That's 28 games you played across the whole con.
Yeah. So the thing that slowed us down on day 3 was we played a game called Steampunk Rally Fusion.
Yeah. I've not played it, but I know of it. Yeah.
One of our Springfield friends brought it with him, and he wanted, he's like, let me teach this to y'all. So we played that, and that turned out to be longer than maybe necessary. Yeah. Well, it was a teaching moment. So funny thing is, so we're playing the game, and the way it was described to me was it's like Galaxy Trucker. You're going to build your ship, and then you're going to race.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh God, that's not good because I don't like Galaxy Trucker.
Yeah.
This was really cool. Yes, you do build your machine and then you race, but you don't just race and you're done, right? There's multiple rounds. So I build my machine and I race and I take damage and I'm like, I think I'm going to blow up. And Jason, who the owner of the game who's teaching us, he's like, don't do that. And I'm like, I think I'm gonna, if I'm reading this right. And then I find out
it now. Yeah.
Yeah. And I thought I was going to blow up because my damage exceeded the number of parts. Turns out you don't blow up. You lose all your parts except for your cockpit where your person, your character is. And you go back to
drags it out even longer.
But then I learned from my mistakes and I had a really great next round. I built my engine right and I didn't win, but jumped ahead.
Yeah, good.
But it took longer. The other thing is we played a full 7-player of Mysterium.
Okay, these aren't short games.
No, so Rich, a really good friend of mine who lives here in Springfield, love him dearly. He brought it. He's like, I really want to play. There's 6 of you plus me. Let's do it. How often do you get 7 players to play Mysterium? So that took a long time as well. And then we ended the day with Broken and Beautiful. I'm telling you that just because that was the last game. It wasn't really remarkable. It didn't wow me, but it's like you're making Japanese pottery and you have to repair them using gold. And okay, it was a snake drafting kind of a game. It was fine. It was fine.
So if Planet Unknown was the game of day 1 and Earth was the game of day 2, what was the favorite highlight of game of day 2. Sorry, day 3.
Day 3, Mille Fiori.
Mille
OLE.
Fiori.
Yes.
Okay, what's that about?
This was a game that Katie wanted to play at Gen Con last year, and we
Mhm.
didn't. So here it is in the Play and Win library. I did not win it. I'm sad to say I did not win any of the games, the 24 games.
I'm disappointed for you.
Well, the drawings, whatever. Anyway, so we played this. Mille Fiori, you have these translucent diamond tokens. Think of Azul, kind of.
Okay,
right?
yeah.
But there's sections, and so you have you draft cards, a hand of 5 cards in your hand. You'll play 4 of them back and forth, right? Except in a 2-player, you only play 3 of them. And so you play the card and you place the token, and then you score points based on the place where you've put your tile, how many of your tiles are connecting together. It depends. It's asymmetric in the regions on the board where you place your tiles.
Right.
So you're trying to be strategic, and there's so many ways, so many paths to victory. It was really close at the end of the game. So, tight 2-player game. We're going to pick that up as well. So Planet Unknown, Earth, Mille Fiori, those are definite. We will buy these in the future.
Yeah, that's good, isn't it? It's good. I mean, it's good how a con allows you to get 30 or so games played.
Right.
And you just made yourself a shopping list.
Sure did. We couldn't wait. So we played Boop on day 2 because I mentioned that to you earlier.
Yeah.
So Boop is a 2-player game where you have 8 little kittens, and
Boop.
And the thing is, it comes with a fabric pillowcase mattress that you put on the top of the bed. You flip the bottom of the box over, you set it on there, and you place your kitten on the bed.
Boop.
Every cat that's adjacent in each adjacent square, you boop them 1 away, and that could be booping them off the bed. You're trying to get 3 kittens in a row, 3 of your kittens in a row, and then you put them in the box. The kittens are gone because kittens love to be in boxes. You put them in the box lid, and you get 3 cats. Cats can boop kittens and other cats. Kittens cannot boop.
Got you.
Kittens cannot boop cats.
Yeah.
And the way to win is you're trying to get 3 of your cats in a row. And that's it. Not much to it, but there's a lot of strategy.
That sounds quite fun.
And we played it like 3 times, and we're like, okay, we have to buy it. And we bought it right away in the vendor hall. Katie beat me every time. She's smarter than me.
Yeah. Seems quite often that she beats you. You need to practice.
I know.
Booping cats.
I know.
Boop.
Booping cats. That's it. See, you already made the sound. You're ready to
I'm ready to play. Okay. So amazing. I'm glad you had a really good 3 days.
I've got some lanyap for you real quick.
Go for it.
Yeah. This is going to be a PSA. I'm going to try not to get in my soapbox very much, but we're about to enter, or we've already entered, gaming season. So I'm going to more conventions. Our listeners are going to be going to cons. I just want to say, be considerate.
Oh dear, what happened?
It's just important. You be considerate and be kind. That's all. We all have to stand in line for things, whatnot. There was a woman in the game library, or the Play and Win library, and she was really ugly to my wife, causing a scene, yelling, accusing her of cutting in line. Misunderstandings happen. It was really ugly. And then the other one, you and I have talked about this in episode 1 when we gave our advice for cons. I can't believe I have to say this. Shower.
Oh, yeah.
Every day. Okay? 2,000 people in one room, and I don't care how big that room is. Body odor lingers.
Gonna get a bit pongy.
And you got your flip-flops, and you're barefoot, and your kids are running around, and that's all fine. We're here to have fun, but practice kindness and hygiene.
Top tips. If anybody wants some more top tips, go back to episode 1.
Episode 1, yes, sir.
And just accept there's some bad sound quality because we were learning, but lots of tips in there. And then, so next week we've got a normal episode, and then I am off to the UK Games Expo and I will be doing something similar.
Yeah, so this will be fun.
With a few interviews lined up as well. So thanks everyone for listening. Thanks PJ for sharing your experience of Geekway to the West. Moshin with the Meeples. And thanks for listening, everyone.
Thanks everyone for listening. Please subscribe, and as always, we love to hear your thoughts and ideas. So make sure to leave those in the comments. And don't forget, you can also chat with us both on Instagram at Meeple to Meeple.